bit over. We're at 2,122.
You appear in really, really good health.
Yes, I'm showing that transplants do work. Not only you get your life extended, but you get your healthy life back.
Yes, and you give back to the community by raising awareness.
Exactly.
This is marvelous. Well, I'd like to give you a City of Guelph pin on behalf of the Mayor and City Council.
Thank you very much.
And I want to congratulate you again on a
Marilyn.
tremendous effort.
Thank you.
Your dedication is really
Thank you very much.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks.
Shake hands with
Hi, how are you?
friends from the church.
Oh,
Yes,
great. You guys are going to walk with me, eh? We need some soldiers to walk to the YMCA.
You're walking from here to the Y.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's not. That's a
Wow.
piece of cake. That's leisure time for me. Would that be okay?
Not sure. We have actually things to do today.
Do you?
Yeah, we have some
Okay, that's
appointments.
okay.
We're just here to say hello. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, so
So it's been going okay.
a lot of support.
A lot of support. You know, we had a rough month though because of the weather.
Yeah.
We had scorchers and rainstorms. I met you somewhere before.
I'm not sure.
Florida.
Where about?
I don't know. Some
It's been in Barrie and
Barrie.
Hamilton.
I know I met you somewhere. I know. I can't remember.
You look good.
We're-
You look good.
We're all over Ontario ourselves.
Yeah.
So.
No, I'm not. No,
Well,
just
I don't Frank for a while.
Yeah, I found you before I could to get, you know,
Well,
like
I think
That's
it's
okay. You know,
amazing
sure, yeah.
we've had to move
because
this
our best men are ready.
on like a day before. It's so hectic our schedule.
I bet.
So the only time I get to really get at the phone is like today, for example. I have to phone Oakville to get them prepared.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
it's been like that.
About how many miles do you walk a day?
Roughly about 35 to 40 kilometers a day,
So it's
and no days off. No days off. So I got to stay on schedule here. Do we have our police escort? Oh,
Joe,
Mayor Joe.
I will.
And
He regrets he couldn't be here,
well,
but I'm delighted
I'm here
to
for a
be
few
here.
days, so I'm going
Okay.
to see if maybe I can pop in to
Excellent. And
let
say
him
hello.
know how
Yes.
I feel about this great city. And he's been my mayor for how long now?
Oh, at
8
least
years.
2 terms. Yes,
Yeah.
That's right. Anyhow,
So,
wonderful
okay,
to see
Marilyn.
you. Do you want to pose a shot for Vic?
Yeah, just one more outside. Okay. Let me just get more of the city hall, okay?
Super.
Great.
Okay,
Thank
so I
you
better get
again.
going.
Good luck.
So I can go with Joe in the van?
Yeah, you go in the van with Joe.
There you go.
All right. Okay, guys. Thanks for coming.
And Toronto is too excited for me.
Yeah, eh? Your son lived with me for a month or two.
Yeah?
Yeah, he came and lived in my house. We went in Sudbury together.
Oh!
Yeah.
He talked to me. So you met him in...
Well, I know him for a few years. I know your son for a few years. But because we go to the
So you doing good? You doing okay now?
Oh yeah, man. Gotta be. Catch the spirit.
Yeah, I do though.
Yeah.
I do. I feel good. I I was so sick I didn't even want to get out of the house.
Wow.
Since I met these guys, I feel good. I go out now. I do a lot of things.
Stay on this side.
He's gonna go down to catch a picture.
Yeah.
He's gonna be out of breath. He's always sitting in the office, that guy.
This guy?
I know, the newsman guy. A lot of hours on a chair, that guy. He doesn't have the strength to run.
Yeah? Try to get a picture of this with the police.
In the mirror?
Yeah. It's hard. Okay. Beautiful. There we go. You gotta be innovative. Because usually the cop's in the front, right?
I thought he wanted to go in the front, didn't he?
Yeah, he should have went in the front.
To open the room. I guess when they're meant to be safe.
Guy's running. What a guy.
Open up the t-shirt for me, okay? That's great. All right, here we go. That's great. Good. Okay, hang on. You're doing a great job. That's great. Good. Okay, that's great. Good. All right. Good. Okay. Okay, that's great. Good. All right, you're doing a great job. Okay, hang on. Couple more. Y'all finish. That's great. Good. All right. Great. Good. Thanks very much. Excellent.
I'm finding myself in the middle.
I'm sorry. We don't want to leave. Well, our staff are absolutely thrilled that you're here. And I just wanted to say thank you, staff, for coming out to greet George. And we've got two board members. Maybe Alan or Nora would like to just say a few words on behalf of the board, just really quick, just to, you know.
Sure.
Yes, sure.
Well, again, just congratulations on your accomplishment thus far. We're behind you all the way, and I think it's wonderful that you're bringing this kind of attention to the organ donor program. And we're pleased you made your home a stop.
Yes.
Good to see you back.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, George. That's just great. Thank you. So, what would you normally like to do now? I mean, normally, what did you do when you arrived? You've had this. How many stops have you made?
This is my 31st YMCA. I talk a lot, so.
Do you want to have an interview with Rogers, or how do you?
I could do that after. What I just wanted to do was just kind of share a few feelings.
Would you like to do that now?
Yeah.
Please do. Please do. Don't let me stop you. I didn't want to leave you stranded in the middle here. But go ahead. Go ahead, George.
First of all, it is my 31st YMCA press conference. There's just 1, 2, 3 left, actually. And I've been at every single YMCA in Ontario, and I can't tell you the reception, the interest, the organizing, and everything that all the Ys have done has just been phenomenal. We've managed to capture a spirit here with all Canadians during our trip. So far we've been on over 50 front page news articles. We've been in all the radio stations in Ontario. We've been in all the television stations. We've been meeting the politicians, the mayors, the police escorts have been escorting us in each town. And I've literally talked to about 500,000 Canadians. And each time I'm leaving a community, I'm leaving with a million memories, positive memories and positive feelings. And you know, each community wasn't just another community. I never got tired of approaching each community, and it just kept getting better and better. And it was sort of highlighting when I was reaching here, Guelph, because I'll tell you something. I was on the 24, and I was walking up 24 in Wellington, and I've walked along those streets many times, and I started crying. So I'm all out of tears now. I won't start crying here. And plus, I always tried to hold back my tears. I said, what kind of man are you? You're going to cry. But there's just so much to this whole story, and a lot started over here for me because in '92, this is where I was working out, and I found out at that time that I was diagnosed with terminal liver disease. And you know, it's never a good time to receive news like this. And when you're told that you have only a couple of years left to live, that makes the situation even a little worse. I remember going through all the phases of trying to accept this. And I read a poem called Footprints, which I don't know if any of you are familiar with, but a poem, just words, somehow gave me acceptance and courage to accept the faith, you know, and I was able to carry on. And one of the ways that I was able to carry on was by continually coming to this Y to work out and having people around here, which I see in the crowd right now, that know me pretty good, having accepted me, you know, while I was going through this. And, you know, I got the call here in Guelph in 1995. I was in my residence on Dublin Street, and they said that there's an organ available for George Marcello from Toronto General Hospital. And I said, are you sure you got the right guy? I had to be absolutely sure that I wasn't taking a female or a younger person's spot. I felt like I was on the Titanic for some reason. That's what you get for watching too many movies. So they convinced me I was the guy, and I went, and the operation took 10 hours, and I woke up feeling that I was going to make it. But at the same moment, I was thinking about that family that had to face the tragedy that evening and lost their loved one. And through that tragedy, made the decision to think about somebody else by donating their loved one's organ, so a person that they don't even know can live. And that was me. And that thought from that moment stayed with me right up to today, because a day has not gone by that I don't think about that family. And that's what led me to do this thank you walk. I found out during the time of my illness about the present status of Canada being the lowest organ donating country in the world. which wasn't very comfortable news for any Canadians to hear. And you know, we as Canadians always prided ourselves in having the highest standards of any kind of living. And apparently the feeling was it wasn't that Canadians were against organ transplantation, because every single Canadian that I talked to along this trip was all for it. I didn't hear one negative thing about organ transplantation. So it isn't Canadians where the problem is. It's just we got to kind of sort out the present legislation, the procedures that we have. One scenario is that the family at the hospital has to make that decision. Even though people sign their donor cards, a hospital official has to approach the family. And that's not a very good picture, because I don't think we should have to approach the family at a time of tragedy and distress. You know, I think one of the things that I've been working in other countries is a national registry. And I think that a lot of Canadians have that strong desire to donate their organs. And that wish should get carried out, and it would get registered. This is one of the things that I found out during this walk after talking to dozens and dozens of related organ transplant organizations. And I'm going to be addressing this at Queen's Park on September the 30th. And I'll have audience with Premier Harris, and then I'll be on my way to talk to the federal government about this. And I was looking at, because I'm near at the end of this journey, you know, it's one more week, and I don't like endings. One more week, and I don't like endings. So, as of now, what I'm doing is I'm doing a countdown to my Cross Canada walk in May 2000, which is going to take 500 days, and we're going to have hundreds of groups and organizations carry a torch each day from community to community to keep carrying on and generating and stimulating Canadians about this issue and change the needed legislations to keep up with the other countries that are presently doing very successful. For example, Spain, if you're on the waiting list there, families and people don't worry about getting an organ because it usually comes. So I'm determined to not stop at anything. And I found most of this philosophy from the YMCA with that mind, body, and spirit, because that's what carried me through each hour. You know, I had some pretty tough weather at the beginning. I had scorchers. There was electrical storms following me. There was mosquitoes from another planet. You know, but I kept that mind, body, and spirit always in mind. And you know, it's carried me this far. And I really want to take this moment out to pay tribute to Marie Leone, who organized this and put this all together, and you know, is just making this such a full day for myself. And also Doug, who couldn't be here today. And I also want to pay tribute to two other people in memory that passed away that are from this town. The first one is Victor Davies. That was the Olympic swimmer who donated his organs, and the family. I want to really pay tribute to the memory of Victor Davies, and also George Terry, who passed away a couple of years ago, who was just a great fighter with this cause and did so much for the community of Guelph. So once again, thank you for this very warm reception and making this a full day, and we'll carry on step by step.
Get the kids in here.
Thank you.
stuff. Now, maybe do some interviews and then eat, because I think that they may have to go on to another.
Okay,
another
no problem.
So,
No problem.
you guys can
Can I
call
get
the
an
shots
interview
here,
with you
huh?
first?
No, well, it'd be hard to it's the kind of thing where we try and plant the positive seed with Canadians, so that they will be.
But I said to Karen, when you talk to her, make sure she's going to work those hours. She's scheduled. Because I said every time she's scheduled, she has an excuse. She should have somebody else who can come in and somebody is safe.
Or if somebody else has.
And if you take somebody else from another department here, that's not good. Because they're not going to work in.
Hire somebody else.
It's like,
But then the only thing is, if you do it now, we have to wait for the
Child who has been on a walk across Canada, and his friend Joe, who has been his road manager and is making a documentary that will be shown on CBC. So I'd like to welcome him.
Thanks, Mary. I want to just take this moment to really acknowledge putting this together in such a short time. Like I laid it on you about a week, less than a week ago. You know, so. But the main thing is that we got something started, and it's going to be the start of many things. First of all, I'm going to read you my. Oh, good morning. I'm going to read you the press release that we sent out right from the beginning, and we pretty well reached almost every newspaper in Ontario, and as a result, we had over 50 art coverage from this. And here's the press release. Okay, George Marcello, which is me, 43 from Toronto, is a liver transplant recipient, walking 2,000 kilometers around Ontario to say thank you to the donor and the families who donated organs so others may live. Also to address the critical shortage of organ and tissue donations in Canada, which has been the second lowest in the civilized world for the past 14 years now. John Totten, another liver transplant recipient, met George and formed the Step-by-Step Organ Transplant Association. And this is just little things as we were walking along, we kept adding. George has walked 1,100 kilometers so far, and it's August the 10th, 1999, and is approaching Collingwood at that time for a press conference at 1 o'clock at the YMCA. All 35 YMCAs in Ontario are participating in George's trek, and George has reached over 100,000 people thus far at that point. August 24th, George has walked 1,363 kilometers so far and has completed 15 very successful press conferences at YMCAs. Cobourg, Peterborough, Belleville, Kingston, Brockville, Ottawa, North Bay, 72 kilometers so far, and is scheduled to complete 10 more press conferences in southwestern Ontario at the YMCAs. September the 10th, George has walked 1,737 kilometers and has successfully accomplished another YMCA press conference in the city area in all the communities he has passed through. So far, George has appeared in over 50 front newspaper articles to implement a national and create a national registry. At present, when you sign your donor card and pass away, 60% of the time, when the organ is available at the hospital official has to approach the family for the final decision. 60% of the time, the family is vetoing the decision. So we have a case where most Canadians are signing their donor cards and wanting their wish to be an organ donator and to save somebody's life. But what happens is we got the wrong picture. We shouldn't have to approach the family at a time and situation of tragedy and distress. because you're so consumed in the distress and the tragedy that you can't think of anything else but, you know, the present thing. We shouldn't have that picture. And, you know, we're probably the only one of the very few countries that have that present situation. Now, at present, they're doing that because family members don't know enough about organ transplantation. Some feel that the body's going to get disfigured. Some don't know enough about organ transplantation that it not only gives a person their life back, but also their healthy life back. There's so many things, but we still, the scenario to approach the family is wrong. So what we're trying to do is, we're trying to create a national registry where if you make a wish and have a desire to donate your organs when you pass away, that wish can get carried out. And I believe that you know, we as Canadians we're a country that enjoys many, many freedoms. This should be one of them, you know, because a lot of people do have a strong desire to donate their organs, and we should have the scenario created for that wish to carry out. So anyways, that's going to be quite expensive, and I'm just in the process right now of reaching certain politicians. As a matter of fact, we're scheduled to meet the Liberal Party when I finish this on the 30th, and Premier Harris has called me, or his office has called us to meet me after I finish this too. And then I heard it was talk with the federal government, possibly meeting before I start the Canada walk. And then I heard it was talk with the federal government, possibly meeting before I start the Canada walk. So we have been reaching some of the ears, and hopefully we'll get them to get started on it. But if they don't, what we're going to do is, on May of 2000, I was telling Marilyn about this, I'm going to walk right across the country at that point, from coast to coast. And this walk that I'm doing now is strictly an awareness walk. It's not a fundraiser. What we'll be doing at that point, we will be doing a fundraiser, and that will be to raise funds to create a national registry. And also we'll be raising funds to make more hospitals transplant accessible, because if we're going to increase our rate of organ donations, presently we won't have enough hospitals to accommodate an increase. So we're going to be raising funds to do that also. The other scenario that we wanted to create was, at present, I'm a liver transplant recipient, and I had this desire to meet the family that donated the organ, to say thank you, and to let them know all the wonderful things that have happened in my life, and to give them a sense that there's a continuance from their loved one. And at present, I'm prohibited from meeting the family. So the legislation that presently stands is that there's only a letter that could be written, and you know, that's how it stands now. I've met many donor families that have a strong desire to meet the recipients, and I think that if the desires are mutual, then there should be an option available for that to take place at some point in some time. I think it would also be a great incentive to encourage people to donate organs, also knowing that you know, the family one day might be able to meet the recipient. So that's called mutual consent in their country. And awareness and education. Presently, there isn't enough programs, there isn't enough awareness about this subject, there isn't enough activities done about this subject. And, you know, once again, it's very much needed. I think when we look at transplantation in the grand scheme, it's only been around for a short while. It's been 20 years now that, you know, pretty well has its foothold, and it's still relatively new as far as medical advances, you know, still a new medical advance. But at present, most medical communities are calling it a cure because most transplant operations and afterwards are just showing remarkable success. So what we have now is a situation where we could call it a cure. That if you were to had a friend that was on the waiting list and was to undergo an operation for a transplant and asked, what are my chances here? Doctors can safely say that that person has a 90% chance of not only surviving the operation, but living a long and healthy, normal life. And that's incredible, you know. So, as far as, you know, whether it falls on our government or most people across, our perception and attitudes as Canadians as a whole is still a little bit behind as it shows with our rate of organ donations. And what we need is more programs and more education to let people know of the success that is present. By the way, our doctors and our hospitals lead the world in achievements, you know, as far as operational procedures and the drugs needed, the anti-rejection drugs. University of Toronto, as a matter of fact, have a department there that just went through a remarkable thing with studying to enhance the quality of the anti-rejection drug. So, you know, we have all the medical technology, all the hospitals, the best doctors here, but we don't have the mind frame of organ transplantation here. We don't have that, the right perceptions, the right scenarios, you know. Now, another thing I have to include here, during my walk, I actually talked to about 500,000 Canadians. I had the opportunity to have a booth at certain festivals that were being held in the towns that I was walking around. And at these festivals, we would talk to about 20,000 to 30,000 Canadians at a time from our booth. And we you know, always ask the questions, how you feel about organ transplant, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't hear one negative response on organ transplantation from any one Canadian. You know, I heard of a lot, I didn't know that, or I didn't, you know, but there was no negative connotation to so the result of that is that generally Canadians agree with organ transplantation. So it's some of these scenarios that need to be changed, and to have more awareness programs and to have more activity done is what's very much needed. So what we're planning to do on our walk across Canada is you know, not only of course continue trying to get all the media to cover this, but also we want to try and become like a cement for all the organizations that are right across from coast to coast, where we'll be starting off with a torch, and there'll be a particular organization or a group that day that will carry the torch for the day, you know, and they'll continue to keep stimulating their community, and we'll be doing that from community to community 500 days in a row. So we feel that that's going to give a pretty good impact on you know, having a lot more programs and all these things done while we're doing this. The other thing I have to add here is that we certainly need more people to, like myself and donor families, to talk to Canadians about their stories. You know, we need more family that either donated the organ and went through the experience, or recipients that went through the experience of knowing that they had a terminal disease and their days were short-lived, and and then hitting the organ, and and then people that are on the waiting list, what the family goes through while they're on the waiting list, just to really let Canadians know what's going on in this area. One of the other things that, when we're looking at why Canada is the lowest, one of the other things that falls into place here is that, of course, the education and awareness, there wasn't enough of that, but it's where the education and awareness wasn't focused. See, it's been focused on sort of what we call the converted area, which are most of the groups that are involved at the hospital, and they sort of keep their message and awareness in a small circle. And what needed to be done was to go outside of that circle and start reaching, well, this is a good example right here, the university. Start bringing this into the universities and the colleges. Let the kids start talking about it on campus. Let this become a topic of discussion in a philosophy class, or let a whole bunch of things start getting written about the ethics and morals of organ transplantation. We need to have this at the top of people's minds these days, because what's at stake here is somebody's life. In a philosophy class, or let a whole bunch of things start getting written about the ethics and morals of organ transplantation. We need to have this at the top of people's minds these days, because what's at stake here is somebody's life. That's it's really that simple. It's somebody's life, and the reason why the government has to act on this so fast is because they probably didn't feel that it was that important to act on, because there was many other important matters to act on. And I still can't agree with that, because life has got to be the most precious thing and the most important thing ever to people to act on. So, we have a situation where there's probably a person dying every other day here in Canada because they're waiting for an organ that won't arrive. And we have a situation where we can do more about that, where we can possibly save that person from passing away this week, by bringing this message continually to people. So, this is the kind of noise I was making, and it was always positive, because I never really blamed the government for not doing it, because I think we're kind of growing into this. The reasons why we're behind, whatever the reasons were, but I think we're growing into this, and the good feeling that I got is Canadians as a whole generally respond. So it was just a case that maybe a lot of people just didn't know that the crisis was happening. And that included the government officials. So what we did on this blog was try and create as much of a positive atmosphere as we can. And the way we did that was mostly I just told my story, what happened to me. And what happened to me is very typical of what happens to anybody else that received an organ. And what happened to me was in 1992, I was going for my regular bi-yearly medical checkup, and I was going to go in there and I was going to come out getting my fit as a fiddle report, and I did a lot of activity. I'm in the gym every other day, and I felt fine that day. But what the doctor was about to tell me was going to change the rest of my life. He said that there was something terribly wrong in my blood, and I needed to go see a specialist. And follow up with this. And I did a series of tests with the specialist. And after, when he finished with the test, he told me quite bluntly, well, not but, you know, he told me because I asked. I wanted to know what and he said that you have terminal liver disease and that you only have a couple of years left to live. I don't think I was ready for that at that point. And, you know, it hit me in such an unreal sort of way. And I almost like was waiting for the soap opera music to come on that you know, when the guy steps into the doctor's office and the doctor gives him the report and then, you know, I was ready. And I can sort of look at it and laugh at it now, but I mean it, but it really felt like that. You know, it felt so unreal. And that's what I get for watching too much television, probably. So, anyways, you know, it slowly, I had to try and accept this. You know, try and accept that this happened to me, not somebody else. You know, I used to read about this, and I used, you know, this is happening to me. You know, boy, oh boy, I tell you, I had to go through a lot of different phases. You know, I went through a really big angry phase, and I went through a blaming God phase, and you know, I still wasn't sure what to do with this. You know, what I was going through, whether to tell my family or not. You know, and I decided against that at that time. It was strange because you know, I know that if one of my family members would tell me, I would have been upset, right? But the strongest feeling I had at that time was that I didn't want to take control of their lives. I didn't want to worry about this at work and you know, I didn't want to take control of their lives. And maybe that's the way things were meant for me to make that decision at that time. Because maybe deep down inside I knew I was going to come through. I don't know. Like, it's strange sometimes when you come to get back, because I did think about it and I was trying, you know, what to do about it. Anyways, I had to drop off from school because my memory I started losing my memory at that point, and I couldn't concentrate. I was at Conestoga College at that point, taking an electronics course. And I had to keep making excuses why I was doing things and why I was looking the way I was looking, you know, to my family. And at the same time, I was looking at the situation of what I could do about this. And first of all, there's hardly no cures for any liver diseases. There's no, you know, there's no medicines. There's no. So they told me that there's an outside chance that I could survive if I get on the waiting list for an organ transplantation. And chances were very slim of me even getting on the waiting list because of the nature of my liver disease. So I just, at one point, I just said, you know what, that's it. You know, I better start accepting this somehow. And I guess some things, the way they happened. Well, what happened was, somehow I had the poem Footprints in front of my face one day. And I read it, and I had such a profound feeling afterwards with it, after I read this poem. You know, and I'm thinking, you know, I used to think poems are nice, but it's just words, you know. But the impact that this poem had on me was incredible, because shortly afterwards, I sort of found the courage to accept what I was going through, and also an acceptance about it, and also a feeling that it was going to be okay. You know, like, even if I passed away, it was going to be okay. It was just an incredible feeling, and you know, I think that that feeling has not left me, you know, and it sort of had my outlook on life changed a little bit, you know, because I, you know, started accepting all the blessings I had in my life at that point, and quietly started making procedures towards my will and everything. Now, in 1994, I got a call from the hospital specialist saying to come down to the office because she had some good news and bad news for me. So I went to the office. This was in September 1994, and she said, well, I'm going to give you some good news. The good news is that you're going on the waiting list. And the bad news is that we just looked at your blood report, and it looks like you're not going to make it past Christmas, which is 2 months away. So, you know, once again, I was rolling with the punches, you know, like it just, I knew I was headed this way anyways. Now, I outlived her prediction, but it was close because I had to get rushed to the hospital 3 different times on near-death episodes. In August, somehow I survived to August 95, and I was in my Guelph residence over here at 2 a.m. and I got a call from the Provincial General Hospital saying that there's an organ available for you. And well, at first, you know, once again with the movies, you know, I got to keep away from movies because I started thinking I was on the type. I got a call from the Provincial General Hospital saying that there's an organ available for you. And well, at first, you know, once again with the movies, you know, I got to keep away from movies because I started thinking I was on the Titanic now, you know, and I was thinking that I didn't want to take a child or a female's place, and I was having the doctor to convince me that I wasn't doing that on the, you know, on the phone, and you know, they said, look, you're the only one that qualifies for this, and this, you know, so you better get down here because you only have a couple hours. Right? So I got in the car and I drove, and the operation took 12 hours, and I remember waking up, and I had this feeling that I was going to make it. You know, I was going to make it. I was going to. But at that same moment, I was thinking about the family that was going through a tragedy that very evening, and that lost a loved one, and somehow courageously made that decision to save somebody else's life that they didn't even know, you know, and the thoughts and the feelings I had towards that were so strong that it never left me up to this day. And as I got out of that hospital 10 days, and I was back in the gym and starting to work out, and my color was getting back, and my body weight was getting back, and my level of activities was getting back stronger. I wanted to do something, and I wasn't sure what, but I knew my heart wanted to acknowledge that act, and I didn't know how I was going to do that, because the only thing I could do at that time was to write a thank you note. So in 1997, on a week's plan and on a whim, I started walking from Toronto to Ottawa to say thank you, you know, and I was going to reach the eternal flame and make a wish that more people on the waiting list would give their life back. And we got a bit of coverage, media coverage at that point, and we also got some organizations that were very, very interested in what I did there. And I think that's where step by step started getting formed. So for the next 2 years, we sat down and started planning and trying to put another walk together, but it would be much longer, which was 2,000 kilometers this time around Ontario. It wasn't easy putting this together, like probably anybody that you know, puts something together of this nature or any kind of organization. We had to go through a lot of stuff, you know, and there was no funding. Volunteers were always hard to come by, even though we did get a lot of support. And there was always bickering and politics would come on, you know, and sometimes all this stuff gets in the way from what you originally wanted to do. So, you know, I was so determined to do this that through all, I mean, you know, as it was growing, as it was getting put together very, very slowly, I was always thinking, you know, the longer we're putting this off, the longer we will probably, the more lives that, the more people are going to die. The longer we're putting this off, the more people are going to die. So we didn't really concentrate that much on the fundraising part of this, because this was going to be a 100-day walk. This was going to be quite expensive. We started out with $1,200 in our pocket. We started from Toronto on June 26th. We started this one, and a lot of people said that you won't be able to make it, you know, $1,200, you know. And by this time, because of my intensity to do this, I wore all my friends out. You know, because I wanted them all involved in this and to help and to, you know, and it just my intensity was just too strong and just, you know, they just possibly couldn't give the you know, what. They're still my friends, but you know, they're pretty beaten up. So what happened was, Joe Camara over here, the road manager, he's got like 25 different job descriptions on this job. He came with me that day because I fell short of having a driver that day. I mean, that's, you know, and he jumped on board that day. And it's been very, very difficult to do this because you have to stay very focused and very intensified, and there's just always 100 reasons and excuses and to stop, you know, throughout a day, any normal day. But then at the same token, there's 500 reasons to continue on, and things that have happened, that just incredible things from the first day right to this day that we've witnessed and seen and felt, and that gave us all the necessary fuel and the necessary motivation to just make it to that next community, you know. And we met a lot of the very personal stories along the way that we emotionally got involved with. For instance, there was this one lady while we were It's September 25th, and I'm in my hometown, Guelph, and I'm just waking up from a very comfortable sleep here at the Holiday Inn, and I'm taking this opportunity to say thank you to the Holiday Inn, and with me is Darren, who is the manager of the day. Thank you very much, Darren. It was a very pleasant stay. As a result of what we're doing here, I'm trying to create something called mutual consent.
say yes, and
The recipient says yes.
if one of them say no, then you leave
Then
it
you
at that.
leave
But
it like
you
that.
think, you think you'd want to know that your son, your daughter, or wife, or husband, passed on, like you could help somebody. I think I mean, if the person doesn't want to know, that's okay. Because you don't give it, so you know the person. It'd be like family. It almost be like family.
Exactly. Because there's that sense of continuance, And of course, the desire would have to be both people to meet, because if there, for whatever reason, we are economists, we don't want it to become economist economists, then that would be respected to the strictest means.
But they should have the option.
Yeah, and I've talked to many donor companies, they have that choice. So I think even beforehand, knowing that option is available, that option is available right now, but we need to be in a incentive for people to feel able to do it. So that's another scenario that we're trying to create as a result of what we're doing. Just trying to take it day by day and see. I have that desire to see these things happen. So I'm not stopping.
Bring in the awareness. A lot of people, I guess, don't know about it unless they are in that situation.
Exactly. So at present, the most that can be done, the most that can be done is to plant that seed, that positive seed that will form spirit of transplantation. And maybe some talk will be made at the home father or at the workplace or in church or yeah. I want to take this second right now to say thank you for giving us a contribution every year. This is how we got by from community to community, because we started on a $1,200 budget.
It's hard to get by.
Yes. We had several Swiss chalets right throughout the block look after us. Thank you very much.
To help you. The least I can do.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, man.
Awful. Oh, actually, it's only 2 weeks, but it was awful nonetheless.
Welcome back to this weekend edition of Plugged In. It's a new season, and already we have lots to tell you about what's happening right here in Guelph. On today's show, OCOP's hearings were held in Guelph this week, and a look at last weekend's Great Canadian Brewing Festival. Hi, I'm Robert Crumb.
And I'm Lisa Leachman, also on the show, a four-legged champion in the Royal City, and we'll tell you about the Arkle Schoolhouse Gallery and your reaction to a question that's been asked in Guelph for many years. Plus, as usual, our look at the Rogers Top 10 Video Rentals of the Week.
But first, you may remember last May, Plugged In's Doug Blackwood reported on the importance of organ donations. He spoke with liver transplant recipient George Marcello and Audrey Ortlieb, who was then waiting for a lung transplant.
We are pleased to report that shortly after that story aired, Audrey got her transplant.
George is still hard at work bringing awareness of the issue to as many people as he can reach. Our Doug Blackwood continues the story.
He's walking across Ontario to raise awareness.
If you could find out which has a sense of pitch, wisely ho, I've managed to assign a...